Greetings, Internet. Callisto here, and I've got a poker strategy video for you folks today. Um, so what I want to talk about is the min value bet as a trap. I fucking love this move. So this is something that you will use generally later in the hand. It's something you're going to use like turn, river, and the situation you're going to want to use the min bet in is you're going to want a nutted type hand. We're talking, nut straight, nut flush, nut straight flush, nut boat, or like second, third nuts, like hands that are very, very high up in your range, where you expect that you're. So I mean, when you get a very strong hand like that, you don't always just want to. Well, you do always want to go for the throat, but if you understand range and board texture, like sometimes you're going to flop a nut hand and it's going to be fairly obvious that you have a nut hand, or your opponent is just going to clearly not have much of the board, so it's going to be difficult to get a lot of value out of it, so you're going to end up playing it rather slow, and maybe you just check flop, check turn, or you check min bet, or you just end up with a lot of money behind and a relatively small pot on the turn or river. And one of the great things about min betting, and it's not really like a min bet, like let's say, what's a good example? Let's say you're playing 1-2 and you've got like pocket. Let's say you've got like Jack 10 and 1-2, and you flop the nut straight, and it survives till river, and the pot's like $20. And let's say you've got like $200 behind, and your opponent has $200 behind. Now, in a spot like this, you've got the best hand, and I know a lot of people at 1-2 might just say, fuck it. I've got 200 behind. I'm just going to stick it all into a $20 pot on the river, and hopefully they've got something to call. And I think this is a very, very bad strategy over time, because we make money in poker by our opponent's mistakes, and when we just stick it all in with the best hand like that, they're going to fold all their top pairs, their second pairs, their middle pairs, they should be folding a lot of their two pairs, and if they're very disciplined, they're going to be folding sets. We just make their decision very easy. But when we're in a spot like this and we do the min bet, which is not actually the min bet, I just call it a min bet because it's more of an undersized bet. So if this is me in this spot and I put my opponents on, a rather weak range, and I have a hand like this, like I'm going to bet, $5 or $10, even though I have the nuts. And it might seem like it's not good, but one of the things you have to keep in mind is you're playing the situation in poker. You're not just playing, I have the best hand, so I need to play the biggest pot possible. Like, if you think your opponent is high in their range and they're going to call an all-in here, then that's the right move. But most of the time, you're not going to cooler somebody in a spot like this where they're going to have a smaller straight or a set or something like that. And when you shove all in a pot like that, you're pretty much just hoping, alright, this guy's got a set that he has to call off with, or a smaller straight that he has to call off with. But statistically, like, that's going to happen, like, God, is it like less than 10%? And even 10% is probably kind of high there. Like, maybe about 10%, because you're not if you have the nut straight, you're not blocking sets and stuff like that. But, they're just not going to have a hand strong enough to call you off there. So what I really like to do is utilize small bets in spots like this, because first of all, it does so many fucking things. It The first thing it does, it disguises the strength of your hand. Like a lot of, especially at 1-2, a lot of times people aren't going to give you credit for being very strong in a spot like that. And so what it does is it targets the middle of, the bottom of their range is going to call a lot. Like you're going to get called by like middle pairs. Maybe if they're particularly loose players, they might even call you with like bottom pair type hands. So you get the advantage of extracting value from a wide range of hands. I think it hurts you a little bit for like the middling type range, like maybe the second pair, top pair type range, like top pair weak kickers. You could maybe get some more value out of. But then once you start getting into the part of their range that is high, like the sets that we're targeting and the smaller straights that we're targeting, they're going to re-raise you anyways. Like if there's a $20 pot, we bet $10 and they have a set or they have a straight, they're going to reopen the pot for us. So we end up in this really nice spot where we're extracting value from a ton of their range. And then when they do end up at top of their range with hands that we cooler, they're going to open the pot up for us anyways. And when we go, like, let's say we raise $10 there, and guy has top set, whatever the hell that is, and we bet 10, he's going to be like, oh shit, I actually have an opportunity to make some money here, so he's probably going to go something like $30, maybe $40, and then you get that tell that, oh shit, this guy's actually higher in his range, or this is one of those situations where the guy is higher in his range, and then you can just dump it all in, and he's probably, against a weaker player, against a good player, I don't think I'd want to do that. I mean, if I was in that spot, I think I'd hope I'd be able to fold. So you wanna be reasonable. If you're playing a good player, I would overbet, but maybe something reasonable. So $20 on the pot, you go 10, there's 30, he goes 40, so that's what, like 70. Maybe you go 100 instead of like 200, because maybe 200, a good player is gonna make the fold, but you play the person. So like the awesome thing about that is you're targeting so much of their range, and you're really only losing money a little bit against like the middling part of their range, you know, the second pair, top pair, weak kicker type hands. Like, yeah, maybe you could bet, you know, $15, $20 instead of 10 there, and they're going to call that. But I mean, you make so much more money against the like the bottom and the top part of their range that, like, it's just a great move that I don't see a lot of people using. So yeah, keep the turn river min raise option open to yourself, and you know, you might find that you make a couple extra bucks next time. So that's it for today. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.